Now we find ourselves in an unfamiliar hall filled with spears. A voice announces that the first spear, Verbash, has returned, but the fifth spear, Anseal, has vanished. A female mage stands in the chamber alongside a knight. They remark that if the spears are being summoned, it must mean the warrior has begun his vengeance, likely referring to Jongsu. The mage instructs the knight to summon the blacksmiths so they can restore the spears as quickly as possible to repay what Jongsu has done for them. As the knight departs, the mage gazes at the remaining spears with sorrow in her eyes. Upon arriving in that world, Jongsu had no interest in being its savior. Unlike the previous warriors, he pushed his body to its absolute limits. After obliterating the training dummy with his spear, Jongsu's body was completely drained. Noticing this, the mage approached him, placing a hand on his shoulder and advising him to rest. He forcefully shrugged off her touch, declaring that it's not enough until he decides so. Compared to Minsu Kim, he was still too weak. The only thought consuming his mind was the need to become stronger. He couldn't shake off the tormenting belief that Dabin, his little sister, perished because he was powerless. During his missions, the spear warrior executed his tasks in silence, without hesitation or uncertainty. His party members were unsettled by his reckless nature, warning him not to venture too deep into the dungeon alone. Yet Jongsu plunged into the fray, battling hordes of goblins, slashing them apart with ease. Suddenly, a colossal orc emerged from behind, landing a devastating strike on Jongsu's nape. He collapsed onto the ground, the monsters preparing to finish him off. His face was drenched in blood, and he started hallucinating, seeing Minsu Kim in place of every enemy. His rage surged, fueling him with the strength to rise once more. He mercilessly cut down the goblins and leaped at the orc, stabbing its neck repeatedly until blood splattered in every direction. His party was terrified, but this time it was because of Jongsu himself. Surrounded by lifeless goblins, he stood in the midst of a crimson massacre. The battle finally ended, his entire body soaked in red. He collapsed, his stamina nearly depleted. Amidst the pile of corpses, he noticed a small hand reaching out for help. His little sister appeared, pleading for his aid. His mother laid beside him, asking if he had taken care of Dabin. His grandmother materialized in front of him, weeping in anguish. Overwhelmed, he clutched his head in despair, begging for the visions to vanish. Rather than a warrior, his actions resembled those of a man consumed by vengeance. Late at night, the mage awoke and found Jongsu sharpening his spear. Grabbing some medicine, she nervously explained that it was ointment for his wounds. Jongsu's back was covered in untreated scars. She began applying the salve, wondering why he insisted on fighting in such a condition. She remarked that his family would be heartbroken to see those scars once he returned home. Jongsu replied coldly that he had no family. They were all gone. Shocked, she asked why he was so desperate to reach the Demon Lord if not to return home as soon as possible. He answered without hesitation. There was someone he needed to kill. She tried to console him, assuring him that no one was stronger than he was and that he didn't need to keep pushing himself anymore. Jongsu interrupted her, stating that his target was incredibly powerful. He wanted to reach a level where he completely overpowered him. When that moment arrived, he would sever all of his limbs. Then he would hang him in a sunlit spot, cutting pieces of his flesh every day and feeding them to him to ensure his survival. The mage recoiled in horror as he grinned maniacally. Jongsu continued muttering, vowing to make his enemy atone for all the lives he had taken and give him a slow, agonizing demise. Sometime later, in a desolate wasteland littered with weapons, the Demon Lord conceded defeat. The spear hero was simply too powerful. Suddenly, a potion bottle shattered over the fallen Demon Lord's body. Jongsu ensured that every drop of its contents soaked his adversary. The mage watched in shock as the healing elixir revived the Demon Lord. A dark aura radiated from the revived foe as he picked up his weapon once more. Menacingly, the Demon Lord questioned if Jongsu desired corruption, if he wished to become a Demon Lord himself. The spear warrior steadied his stance, daring him to attack. After all, he needed this fight to grow even stronger. The Demon Lord hesitated, confused by Jongsu's words. Time passed, and eventually the Demon Lord begged for death. It seemed that Jongsu had revived him countless times. As the warrior prepared for the final strike, the mage threw herself at him, embracing him from behind and pleading for him to stop. Tears streaming down her face, she assured him that he was already strong enough and that they will help him accomplish his vengeance. The scene shifted to a workshop where blacksmiths labored under the mage's supervision, forging spears. She gazed at the sky, whispering a silent plea for the warrior not to become a monster once his revenge was fulfilled. Back in the present, Jongsu stood wielding his shield spear and Sua's trident. A hallucination of Minsu Kim appeared beside him, questioning if he truly believed anyone would applaud his efforts. He wasn't a savior, nor the protagonist of some grand legend. He was nothing. Jong-soo was unfazed. Without a second thought, he plunged his weapon into the illusion, watching as it faded away. The only thing he desired was to be the one who killed the sword warrior. Jong-soo approaches the ship through the frozen ocean, tossing his spear and trident on board before leaping onto the deck. Soman is astonished, believing that he might actually be capable of eliminating the remaining warriors. Jong-soo asks her if there are any survivors. Soman shakes her head, indicating that she has already checked the deck, turrets, and even the engine room but found no one alive. She starts wondering what to do since they can't operate the vessel without the soldiers. She asks if Jong-soo has an ability that could take them to land. He seems capable of anything after creating a shield and freezing the sea. Jong-soo interrupts her, stating that he is a warrior, not a magician. He counters, asking if she knows how to operate the ship. After all, she is the guide. Ashamed, Soman admits that she hadn't considered that when she offered to assist him. He walks past her, saying that he only brought her because he thought she could be useful. She turns toward him, demanding to at least know what his plan is. He states that he needs to rest. She might not realize it because she didn't do anything, but he needs to recover after fighting. As he walks away, Soman gets irritated and calls him a show-off, but she knows his words are true. She wants to contribute but has no way to do so. Inside one of the ship's rooms, Soman is using a lantern to search through the drawers. She's focused on finding the ship's manual so she can prove her worth to Jong-soo. Suddenly, she hears footsteps in one of the hallways. She slowly approaches, remembering that the warrior should still be asleep. Reaching the entrance, she peeks outside, startled by the scene. She sees the spear warrior carrying the corpses of the fallen soldiers and placing them on the deck. One by one, Jong-soo covers the bodies. He mentions that his father was also a Navy officer, likely killed by the warriors just like them. He recognizes the soldier who sacrificed himself to stop the trident from striking his back. Jong-soo apologizes for not being able to return them home to their families. With pain in his eyes, he says sorry for failing to protect them. He hopes that in their next lives, they can exist in a world where no sacrifices are necessary. Soman watches from afar, moved by his compassion. The sun finally rises, and they both stand on the deck, noticing something approaching. A chopper appears, full of soldiers and a man in a suit. Sliding the helicopter door open, the man announces that the rebel warrior and the woman accompanying him have been found. He is Jungkook Choi, the leader of the restored government's counter-warrior team. The mission to secure the rebel warrior begins, positioning the chopper above the ship. Jong-soo asks Soman if she radioed anyone, but she denies it. She speculates that they could be allies of the warriors. Some civilians joined them in pursuit of power. Jong-soo gets on guard, ready in case they are foes. Jungkook uses a megaphone to introduce himself and informs them that they will lower a rope ladder. Jong-soo asks Soman if she has heard about the restored government. She says she hasn't seen them in action, but according to the soldiers in Jeju Island, they are a group formed by surviving members of the government and military. She adds that they wage guerrilla warfare against the warriors. Jong-soo says it makes sense that they would want to contact him if they intend to continue their resistance tactics, and he agrees to meet them. Soman and Jong-soo climb the ladder into the chopper. Once inside, Jungkook invites them to sit. Jong-soo remains stoic, but Soman appears nervous as the soldiers proceed to close the doors. Jungkook gives the order, and the pilot starts moving the helicopter toward the mainland. Soman analyzes the situation. Based on Jungkook's attire and the soldiers' gear, they truly seem to be from the restored government, but she is still unsure if they can be trusted. Jong-soo asks where they are heading. Jungkook cuts him off, saying they will be the ones asking questions. One of the soldiers pulls out a pair of handcuffs, alarming Soman, who pleads with them to wait. She yells that Jong-soo has already defeated 2 warriors and is on their side. She stands, trying to make them understand that they are not the enemy. The soldiers immediately raise their weapons, threatening her to stay still if she doesn't want a bullet in her head. Jungkook states that the restored government has no intel on him, so they can't trust him. They are not giving him a ride. Instead, he is being taken as a prisoner. Stoically, Jong-soo asks how many seconds Jungkook thinks it would take him to kill all the soldiers and take control of the helicopter. The spear warrior reminds him that their guns are useless against someone like him. Soman is petrified since, unlike him, those weapons pose a real threat. Jungkook removes his bulletproof vest, revealing a bomb underneath, making Soman almost scream in terror. Jungkook asks the warrior if he believes he can survive if a bomb detonates in a confined space like that. He adds that even if he manages to endure the explosion, what about a fall from 2,000 feet into the ocean's surface? He presses further. Even if he survives the fall, can he swim all the way to shore with those injuries? Clenching his spear, a dark aura begins to emerge from Jong-soo, but Soman tries to pacify him. She tells him that they are fully prepared for any situation. Jungkook advises him to shut up and comply since there's no point in acting tough. Upon hearing that, Jung-soo relaxes his grip, and Jungkook orders his soldiers to restrain them. The chopper arrives at a desolate, ruined city. They finally land on a helipad, and Jungkook exits the aircraft, followed by Jung-soo and Somin, who are tightly bound and blindfolded. A squad of soldiers awaits them at the headquarters of Korea's restored government. A soldier approaches, commending Jungkook for successfully capturing the warrior who has been eliminating the others. Jungkook instructs him to take the spear warrior to the interrogation room for now. He walks away, contemplating whether capturing Jung-soo was a wise decision for them or an advantage for the sword warrior. From afar, a drone records the unfolding scene above the restored government's facility. That footage is being displayed on a wall filled with screens showcasing different parts of the city. A warrior clad in black mechanical armor revels in finally locating his targets. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.